Hello, everybody, and welcome to our podcast, Welcome to Livingston, where we invite local businesses, people, and organizations in to talk about what they are giving to our community. My name is Don Patella.
And I'm Angela Patella, and we're with the Patella Group Real Estate Professionals. As realtors and brokerage owners, we bring valuable insight into the local market and community every week.
Thanks for listening, and welcome to Livingston. Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of the Welcome to Livingston podcast, where we talk all things Livingston County and sometimes take a break for real estate as well. My name is Don Patella.
And I'm Angela Patella, and we're with the Patella Group Real Estate Professionals.
Yes, and we are so excited about today's episode. But before we get started, I'm just going to take a moment to give a quick shout out to our sponsor. So today's episode of the Welcome to Livingston podcast is brought to you by our valued sponsor, Jim Paquette with Lake Michigan Credit Union. He is a trusted mortgage lender who has lived and worked in our community for many years. Jim Paquette is dedicated to helping our neighbors achieve their homeownership dreams and is proud to support the local businesses that make our area special. And, like I always say, he's just a great guy. He's really involved in the community. And his team is just amazing. They do such a good job with communication and just helping their clients and our clients out.
Yes, they are outstanding, and I can't recommend them enough.
So today's episode, a lot of times we have guests on with us where we talk to local businesses. As you guys notice or you're listening, it is just me and Angela today.
Yeah, but those are fun sometimes, Give it a chance. It's really great featuring the community and some of the great people and things that are in it. But since we are realtors, then, every now and again, it's good to just sort of splash in some of those house things.
Yes, and we've got some great episodes out there where we talk about, buyers and what they go through, sellers, what they go through, prepping your home if you have parents that you're looking to downsize and such, but
and selling at the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah, we've got great stuff out there.
Yep. So take a look at all of those. But today, we were sitting down talking about what we wanted to talk about in terms of real estate. And, we are thinking about, when we go through houses with buyers and with sellers, what they get excited about.
Yeah.
We are looking at it, and I threw out this idea of things that your house needs that you never knew it needed, right?
Yeah.
Or those items that help your house sell or become more desirable.
Right. Exactly. Those are really important features.
Yes. So I've got some ideas on that. So those things that you may or may not have in your house, but those things that people get really excited about, or those things that if you're looking to put something into your house, the benefits you get from it that you may not think of.
Right.
Top things your home needs that you never knew it needed.
Yes. I like that. Yeah. No, that's cool. So there's 17 of them that you came up with between inside and out. And
yes.
I helped a little. But my ideas were more lifestyle, and that'll be a different episode.
You had some great lifestyle ideas.
Yeah, that'll be a different episode.
Yes.
But all in on 17 things your house needs and you don't even realize.
Exactly. And the first one I wrote down was soft close drawers. And you added pullouts to that.
Yes.
And the funny thing is, those are one of those things like when I take a buyer through the home, they always in the kitchen, they pull open the drawer and then they push it closed as fast as they can to see what happens.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think people smash their fingers in drawers as much of an epidemic that it makes
That's
it
true.
seem with how excited people get about soft closed drawers. However, if you have a little kid, you know how important soft drawers close are because people are slamming drawers all the time. And it's nice that they don't slam and bounce back out.
Right.
And then the pullouts.
So for me, a lot of these cabinets are pretty deep. And so to get to the back of the pantry or the back of a shelf, it's kind of cumbersome to start in and reach and whatnot. And so when you have the little drawer that pulls on out, so you can reach whatever is there in the back, that's huge. That's fantastic.
Makes it really easy for cleaning too.
Yes, this is true. But especially in a pantry or whatnot, that's such an important feature. And so if you are thinking about getting new cabinetry, this year, those would be features that you would want to make sure to include.
Well, I would say that our pantry has it, and that is amazing. And then my pots and pan drawer doesn't have it, and you can see how crazy that is compared to the pantry, right?
Exactly.
Because it doesn't have that
if
pull-out.
If you're looking for like a particular pot, it's just
a lot of stuff
like
comes out on the floor.
Yeah. And imagine if you could just pull out the drawer.
Exactly.
Then, it really,
or
the shelf.
It's one of those things that improves your life in the kitchen and is great for resale as well.
Right.
Right. The second item I have there is your programmable thermostat. The Nest, the Ring, the Ecobee. We have the Ecobee at our house. I love the programmable thermostats. We have a thermostat that's different for the main floor and the upper floor. But one of the things I love about these programmable thermostats is, one, you can change the temperature when you're not at home. Two, you can change the temperature sitting in bed so you don't have to get out and go over to it, right?
Yeah.
Three, it will give you alerts when it's time to maintain, change the filter, that sort of thing. That's really good. And then it has these little sensors that you can put in different rooms of the house to try to equalize your temperature, because so often, your thermostat is in the hallway or it's near something that's colder, right?
Yeah.
So the temperature is great right at the thermostat, but then it's 4 degrees different in your room.
Right.
Where with these programmable ones that have these little sensors that you put in different areas, we have one on the dresser in our room. The temperature is right in our room.
Right.
Right. So those are great things to have. That programmable thermostat, it's real easy to replace it if you don't have one in your house. And if you have these old thermostats that have a battery in them, if that battery goes out, your furnace stops working. And people don't know that sometimes.
That's true, because we've had clients, well, not as much with us because you bring it up to them so they know. We've heard of people having to have service calls.
No, yeah. Our inspector warns people about that all the time.
Exactly. When really all you needed to do was replace the batteries in the thermostat.
Yep.
So it becomes a very expensive service call that is for a silly little thing. Whereas if you have one of these, you don't have to worry about that, right?
100%.
Wish that we had this or whatnot, but certainly we've encountered people, some of our best friends used to have this, a heated master bathroom floor. So like in the primary bathroom, the heated floor in the bathroom, right? I mean, we're in Michigan. These winters get cold, and to be able to just go ahead and as you go into the bathroom, you don't have to have cold feet.
Exactly. Those are on a timer usually.
Yeah.
So they auto shut off. So it's not like you can forget about it and have it on all day. You needs to be put in when you pull up the floor. You put down a new tile floor. They'll put the heating underneath the tiles in there to heat it. I know we have clients that get really excited about that. And that's one of those things that the cost to put that in, it's a lifestyle change for people.
Right. Well, it's that quality of living. Right?
Right.
That's something that you don't think you need. But when you actually have it, it really makes a huge difference.
Exactly. And that's one of those ones for the buyers when they walk through a house, they get really excited.
Yes.
When they see heated floor in the bathroom, right? Because it's one of those things that they've always wanted, but they would never put in themselves.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So especially in resale, that's 100%. An outstanding thing. But at least until you sell it, at least you get to enjoy it.
Exactly.
So while we're talking about bathroom, nice to haves, those kinds of things, what else would you say would be good?
One of the things that people really like in bathrooms are water closets.
Now, what is a water closet?
Okay, so water closet is when your toilet is separated by a door. Right?
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom. So you go into the bathroom, you have your main room of the bathroom, and then you have a door that you go into that's just the toilet.
So usually like in a primary bathroom.
Usually in a primary bathroom. Every once in a while, you'll get it in the hallway bathroom if that bathroom's also connected to like a Jack and Jill or something, or a Hollywood where it's connected to the hallway. But usually it's your primary bathroom. And people really like this idea of a water closet. Now, that's not something that most people can remodel their bathroom for, but if you have a rather big bathroom and you're ripping out the huge tub and remodeling your bathroom, I would always suggest that if it's a possibility, put in a water closet, because people really like it. For those out there that, a husband and wife, or, you and your partner, you're sharing the bathroom. It's nice that if you're doing your makeup or you're shaving and such, and someone comes in to go to the bathroom, they could go in and they could close a secondary door to be in the bathroom. Usually it has its own fan in there, so any smells that are created in that room can stay in that room. But it's this nice thing that people really like to see.
It's definitely a very modern amenity, allows privacy, and something in kind of the current modern home.
Yes.
That a lot of the new builds we see.
A lot of the new builds are looking at it nowadays. So it's something that is really nice to have.
So now we're moving on into the kitchen.
Yeah, we're going back into the kitchen.
Fantastic things that people need.
Well, the first one is an item that you brought up. That's a little small thing that sometimes people don't even realize they have.
Yes. Sometimes we encounter people who have lived in the house for a while and didn't even realize it was there.
We have it.
We do.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember we did. Yeah, I remember being excited when I came across it.
Yep.
It's that little drawer at the kitchen sink that it's just under the sink, and it's, kind of tips out a little bit, and you can put a little sponge in there or something really small, but it really is convenient. And
yeah, it's something else. I've seen ones where they have like their paring knife in there or such, most used item that they use at the sink all the time. But it's this little hidden drawer. It's a nice to have so that you're not having to go over to someplace else. Sometimes people have them. I've had sellers that, like, I'm going through the kitchen or whatever, and I find that there, and they're like, they never knew they had it.
Yeah.
They've been living in the house for like 10 years. Right?
Isn't it crazy?
So if you're listening out there and you have a house and go into your kitchen and be like, I wonder if my drawer right underneath the sink angles out. Right? Because you may not realize that it does that. And there's a little tray in there to add some sponges or some such and everything. And it's just a nice little thing. And if you're getting your kitchen remodeled, it's an easy thing to add that people like to see.
Right.
Right? It's a little fun one that we threw in there. Right? The second one there is buyers get really excited, and it is a change of lifestyle if you have it, having 2 ovens. I cannot overstate the holiday prep difference in my life from going from 1 oven at our old house to 2 ovens at the house we're at now.
Yeah.
It completely changed the scope of my Thanksgiving and how much I was able to enjoy Thanksgiving.
Right. Because it cuts everything in half. Anytime that you're using your oven for more than one item.
Well, yeah, and I was able to cook and keep things warm at the same time. I was able to have a turkey over here while I was cooking other things over there. Made prep work and everything so much easier, and it removes so much stress, and it just makes your life a lot simpler. And if you're a person that bakes a lot and you're doing cookies and other things, which to be able to go like, here's an oven A, here's an oven B, and just boom, 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 boom.
Right.
People love to see that. So if you're remodeling your kitchen, if you have the means, go with the 2 ovens.
Honest to goodness. Yeah. It makes a big, big difference. And again, tying back to resale, but just in terms of life, right?
in terms of life. It's one of those things that 2 ovens is an item that, like, it was the first thing on my list. It's down the list, but it's one of those things that you never knew you needed it until you had it, and then you can never live without it again.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Huge, right? One of the things, not as much on to that scale, but we have a reverse osmosis at our sink.
Yeah.
I love the reverse osmosis at our sink. We have community well water. It purifies the water a little bit more. Even if I was on city water and such, a reverse osmosis at the sink is nice because it's just this extra spigot that water comes out of. It's been, it has its own filter on it, so it's filtered out some extra things and such. I think that is really nice to have. It connects to the fridge as well. Not on the list while I'm thinking about this. What I'm seeing a lot of new homes have is they have a spigot at their stove.
Right.
To fill up the pots.
Yeah, that's hot.
That is
for somebody
hot
that's
right now.
into cooking. Like, that's just such a convenient.
Well, we had some clients purchase a house last year.
Yeah.
That they They were so excited that they were getting a Viking stove in their kitchen.
Yeah.
But oh my gosh, was she excited that it had a water spigot right above it.
Right. Exactly.
To fill up the pots, right? Because she's a person that cooks a lot and, is boiling water and doing things and everything. And oh my gosh.
And this kitchen was really fantastic.
Fantastic. But she loved that aspect of having that extra spigot there.
Yeah.
So not on my initial list, but when we're talking about the reverse osmosis, that came to mind.
Right. Right. This is true.
Yeah.
So, and then speaking of water, sometimes water heaters go. And the interesting part is before the pandemic, right? There was such a big wide difference in price for replacing it. But from what I understand, that's shifted quite a bit. And that makes this amenity a lot more reasonably priced comparatively.
Exactly. You're talking about is the tankless water heater.
Yeah.
So the tankless water heater initially was a lot more expensive than a regular water heater, right? The prices are more comparable nowadays and such. But if I were to tell you the core benefits of a tankless water heater and why people that have them love them so much, one, we had a tankless water heater installed in our house, about 2 years ago now?
Oh, it's all a blur.
It's all a blur. Our bill went down dramatically for gas.
Yes.
Because it doesn't have to keep the water hot all the time. It heats the water as you need it. So it's on-demand hot water, which means that it's not holding a 40-gallon water heater, 50-gallon water heater hot all the time. What people don't realize is when they have a tank water heater, that thing's on and it's always holding that temperature. So when the temperature drops in the tank, it heats it back up. So you have it there. So your gas bill is going to go down, right?
Right.
Number two, if you have one of these big soaker tubs, if you have a big soaker tub, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about.
Or teenagers that take long showers.
Well, there's those are two separate things, but it's very true. The soaker tub, by the time you get the tub filled, there's no more hot water anymore. So if you have one of those big tubs, you're not getting into a super hot bath because there's not enough hot water in the tank to fill the bath. If you have teenagers, by the time you get to that second or third shower in the morning, there's no hot water.
Right.
The downside to that is your teenager can now take a 45-minute shower and always have hot water.
Yeah, this is true. This is not good. But yeah, with the tankless hot water heater, it really is a game changer.
Yes, and one of the other things that I did not anticipate the benefit of is the extra storage space we created in our basement.
Oh my gosh, that's true.
Right? So now we have a tankless hanging on the wall in that big spot where the tank was sitting on the ground.
Yeah.
I have Christmas boxes now.
Yeah, there we go.
So it was a huge benefit there, right? While I'm down in the basement, one of those things I would say that it's not putting something into your house, but it's something that buyers really get excited about, is if you are on a air conditioner and furnace maintenance plan, you get a sticker on the side of your furnace that they're supposed to fill out and say when they were there and what they did.
Yeah.
Make sure that your furnace company actually fills that out and puts something on there, because when you're going to sell your home, the buyers are really happy to see that. It says that you've been maintaining your home and you've been taking care of your furnace, and it shows that value of the plan that you've purchased.
Exactly. But even beyond that, I think it's a statement about your home in general. When a buyer sees that, they know that the overall house is being well maintained.
Exactly.
Right. It's just in terms of some people do it, some people don't. We see all kinds. But that's something that I think really keeps you on track, makes sure everything is working properly. And then even in terms of on resale, you get really kind of those warm fuzzies from buyers that even more want to purchase your house than they would have before.
Exactly. The interesting thing is the next one on the list I find really interesting. So, question, what's more important, the carpet or the pad?
Totally the padding.
100% the padding. And I find this so interesting. I've gone into houses that had a really expensive Berber carpet, right? With a thin crap pad underneath it. and it feels like a cheap carpet. And I've gone into other houses that had the builder grade carpet, but a really thick pad underneath that you can feel on your feet.
Yeah.
And it feels luxury.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. So understand that when you're remodeling your house, that extra thick padding is going to be so beneficial to you as the homeowner, and it's going to be so beneficial when you're going for resale because that padding makes a huge difference.
Yeah. It's a great investment for the part that you don't see, but you feel.
Exactly. And the last one we had on the inside of the home, something that we both like and something that all of the buyers that we take through really love and the sellers always make sure to mention to us.
Right.
Is mudroom cubbies.
Yes. I just feel like in just the modern times of today, that's something that's hugely necessary. It's not, people that I know don't go and hang up their coat in the closet usually so much. They're right there at the cubbies.
Right. And it's something that the custom builders nowadays are building right into the house.
Right. Yes. A lot of the modern builds.
They're putting those in instead of a coat closet a lot of times now.
Right.
Right. So it's something really nice. So if you're remodeling your mudroom, it's one of those things that one is going to be really beneficial to you. Another one, almost like the double ovens that you didn't realize how much you needed it until you had it.
Right.
And it just changes. If you have kids, it is a game changer.
Absolutely.
Right. And even if you don't have kids, it's such a nice thing. You're coming in from the garage, you can hang your coat up, you can put your muddy boots there. You have, a different spot for each person and such. I mean, we have them and I like them a lot.
Well, and even it's not just by person. To me, it's the season because maybe it's as a woman, I have multiple coats. And I wear different coats to different places for different things.
Right.
Even as a matter of a raincoat, those falls, those springs in Michigan, it may vary greatly from one temperature to the next. And to be able to have those available and not have to be rooting around inside a closet.
Yes.
It's important.
Yeah. And you have that upper level of the cubby that for some reason mine has, let's see, I have tape measures in there. I have some screwdrivers in there. So I use it for something different than what it would be. But it's so nice to be right there and to be able to say, like, I'm going to grab a tape measure that I don't have to go all the way out into the garage. I just grab it out of my cubby.
It's true. But otherwise, it's great to have a hat or gloves.
100%.
A scarf, any of those items.
Yeah.
Or even just items that you use on your way out.
Exactly.
Make it convenient to grab.
Exactly. So, right before we go outside, there's an item that I put in the outside, but it's kind of inside outside. Your garage floor, it is amazing how excited buyers get when they see an epoxy on the garage floor. But it's amazing what a difference it makes to your garage in terms of how easy it is to clean the garage, how nice the garage looks to have that epoxy on the floor.
Right. It really adds that finished touch and, gives you that warm fuzzy as you're on your way out.
Exactly. So epoxy in that floor, it is worth the cost, and it's also one of those things that you get a personal benefit for. On the outside of the house, I just have a couple items. Number one, people love, if you have trees in your yard, gutter guards are really nice
critical
to have.
Yeah.
They save you so much time. They can save you money. They can save you some heartache. None of us like getting up there and cleaning out all the gunk out of the gutters. And if we forget to clean it or we get a clog, then you can get an ice dam that can damage your roof.
Right.
So gutter guards are really nice to have, but it's one of those things that's nice to have when you're for resale, that we're on the outside of the house. I'll mention to people, hey, they have gutter guards, and they get really excited about the gutter guards. If they haven't had them or they know what they are, I'll explain what they do and such. So they're a nice benefit to have, and it's something that makes your life easier as a homeowner as well.
Right. Which any of those things are so huge and so powerful because nobody has time for adding more problems to the mix, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. The next one is really interesting. Sometimes they stay with the house, sometimes they go, but it's those Ring doorbell and security cameras on the outside of the house.
Yeah.
I think they're important. You think they're important as well.
I absolutely do. Yeah. In this day and age, we see it on almost every house that we show. right?
Exactly.
It's just a way of life for people.
100%. And the interesting thing is we've gotten used to them, but there's a lot of benefits we can get from them. You know who's come to your front door. When packages have been dropped off and such. You can talk to someone that's at your front door while you're not there if you want to, right? Some of the other benefits, you can see what's been going on in your yard, what's been going on in your driveway. You can see what time your kids come home. Surprisingly, you can see if one of them's trying to sneak into the house.
Yeah. Imagine if they had those when we were young, right?
Exactly. One of the other things that you may not know, if you have a pool in your backyard, if you put a camera on that pool and you let your insurance company know, you can get a discount on your insurance because you're monitoring the pool. You're taking an extra step.
Right.
Great
for safety.
Great for safety. Always let your insurance company know that you have a security system or you have security cameras because they're going to give you a discount for those.
Right. You're protecting your property.
And your investment.
Yes.
Right? So that's an important thing, and that's really nice to have.
Yes, exactly. And they're reasonably affordable. Periodically, there's big sales that go on. And
they're actually really easy to install, too. We have the ring ones on the outside of our house. They were very easy to install. There's one that's really high up, and I ended up putting the solar panel on that charges it, so I don't have to get up and change the batteries. The batteries will last for about three months or so, and then I just take them down, I charge them for a couple hours, I put them back in. But the one with the solar panel, it's been 4 years plus.
Right.
And it's kept it charged and everything, so that's great. So just, a shout out there that those things do work, and they're not as hard to install as you think they are.
Yeah.
Right? The next one on there is fire pits.
Yeah. Fire pits are such a social thing, again, modern. Just in terms of being able to use your patio or your deck.
Yeah, no, the permanent fire pits are really nice. There's a lot of great companies out there that'll come out and they'll transform your outdoor space. That's an investment that you're going to get back a little bit on, but your enjoyment in the house is just amazing. So if you're using like a temporary fire pit out there and everything, that's great. But if you find yourself out there all the time using that,
yeah,
look at investing into a permanent fire pit, looking at having a built-in one. I've seen some now that have a gas line that goes out to it. If you don't want a natural fire, if you want to have one of those little stone ones that pop up and everything, there's some great things that you can do out there to just enjoy your outdoors a bigger percentage of the year.
Well, especially since we live in Michigan, right? There's just something about a Michigan summer where if you're not outside, you're doing it wrong.
Right.
Because that's, the evenings outside or just being outside in general, that's the perfect time. And so as evening sets in and you have a fire pit to just sit back and enjoy Michigan, why wouldn't you?
Well, yeah. And like at our house, we have a fire pit now, but what we had before was this huge hibiscus that was planted in what I was like, this looks like a fire pit. I don't understand why this isn't a fire pit. So
It is now.
It is now. So, they're really nice to have. It makes your outdoor enjoyment so much more. And it's something that buyers really get excited about as well, because you're exactly right. Summer nights, being able to sit out there and enjoy the space outside, making it part of the house instead of something separate. Mm-hmm. Is really important, which leads me to the next one.
Yeah, since we're on the deck anyway.
Trex decks.
Or even other brands, but to have that low maintenance element.
Element to the deck. So anyone out there, if you have a deck that you're having to reseal and restain, one, if you're not doing it at least every other year, you're probably not doing it enough. You need to maintain your deck. You need to take care of it, because there's nothing worse than you stop staining your deck, you stop resealing your deck, and then it starts to fade and it starts to go, and it just doesn't look the way you want it to look, and you let it go too far, right? A Trex deck, that doesn't happen to. You can get out there, power wash it, and it looks brand new. And it doesn't have to be Trex brand. It's just that, I don't want to say fake wood, composite.
Yes.
It's a composite. It looks great. It has a great look to it. You can pick out the color and such. But a low maintenance deck
easy maintaining,
easy enjoyment. It's a really nice to have. It's a nice upgrade if you're looking at upgrading your deck. Mm-hmm. And it's a really nice thing on resale when people see a composite deck.
Right. Even if it's older, the fact that it's there is huge.
Exactly. And the last one I have on my list isn't going to apply to everybody. If you have a septic system and your tank is 3 or 4 feet underground, and every time they have to come to pump the tank out, they're like, hey, where's the tank? And you're like, I don't remember where the tank is. Or they have to dig up to get to the tank, and they're pulling up your grass to get to it, or it's underneath your mulch, and they're having to dig it aside and everything to get down to it. That can be a pain in the butt. A riser is only a few $100s, and then what they're doing is they're putting a tube there, they're putting a plastic cover on the top of it, so it's easy to get to for the next time it has to be cleaned out. If there's a problem in the tank, it's easier to get to. If it's the middle of the winter and they're having to dig through frozen ground, it just makes
a difference.
It makes everyone's life a little bit better. I know some people don't like them because they don't want to see that little lid on it. There's things you can do to cover it up and such. But I just think it's a thing to point out that sometimes people don't realize that it's an option.
Right. This is true. Now, while we're on that public service announcement, someone that has a septic system, how often should it be pumped?
No, this is a great question. So I would say that you should be pumping your tank every 2 to 3 years. If you have a couple kids and you're doing laundry all the time, that needs to be pumped every other year.
Yeah.
Okay. If it's just 2 of you, you're empty nesters, you're not using it all that much, you might be talking 4 years, but it's one of those things that you should talk to the person that pumps your tank and say, hey, how often should I be doing this?
Right.
And make sure you're maintaining that tank. Okay. Public service announcement number 2. If it doesn't go through you, it doesn't go in the tank. Okay. Wet wipes. Okay. You shouldn't be putting a bunch of things through your garbage disposal. I tell people, a lot of homes that have a septic system, they don't have a garbage disposal because they don't want to encourage themselves to grind things up and send it out into the tank, right?
Yeah.
It needs to be able to be biodegrade.
Right.
And things that don't biodegrade, but every couple of years, and don't be doing 6-7 loads of laundry in one day. Yeah. Space that out a little bit. If you buy a new house that has a septic field, you're like, hey, there's no trees in my backyard. I want to plant a tree in the backyard. There's probably a reason there weren't any trees in the backyard. Talk to your inspector. Say, hey, where's the field? You can go to your health department and they can give you a map on where the field is. You don't want to be planting trees that have roots that are going to intrude into your field, okay?
Right.
This is a special system that needs to be maintained. So that's my public service announcement for the day.
Because replacing any of those things that we said not to do, the whole business case of not doing it is the fact that the cost to replace these, astronomical, unreal. And even if you're not the one that replaces it, guess what? Someday maybe you're selling your house, but you've been mistreating these things that will come up on inspection, and then you have to pay for it at that point in time. So better off just taking good care of it right in the moment.
Well, I would say on anything on the list, anything we talk about in the house, maintenance of a house is important. I talk to first-time homebuyers all the time. And it's like when you buy your first house, you get to learn all these things that you get to maintain that you don't realize people have been taking care of, right? Absolutely. The gutters need to be emptied. The septic needs to be pumped. Yeah. There's so many, the filters on the furnace need to be changed. And if you don't, your furnace stops working correctly.
Right. Or don't get the bright idea to use, I'm going to use a much higher filter to filter more things. Well, sometimes
it doesn't allow air to flow.
Yeah.
Well, one of the funny things, and we're going to wrap up real quick, but one of the funny things I find about like water softeners and filters on your water for well water. Yeah. I have been in so many homes with our inspector where he's like, hey, there's no water pressure in this house. And then he goes down there and he bypasses the filter.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there's tons of water pressure. And the people that were living in the house never changed the filter in the basement.
Happens all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they've been dealing with no water pressure because the filter was so clogged.
They had no idea.
They had no idea. Now, the good person that really does this, take a Sharpie, put it next to your furnace, put it next to your water heater, put it next to your reverse osmosis system. And when you put a new filter on, take a Sharpie and write the date that you put the filter on the filter. And
Life
then
hack
you
right
know
there.
that it's time to change it. Or better yet, and this is the best life hack I could have, Amazon is amazing for a bunch of things, but this is the thing that I like best about Amazon. You can set up a subscription for something. You set up a subscription for your filters. And you say, it's going to send me a new filter every 4 months. When the filter shows up, it's time to change the filter. It's not putting it away and forgetting about it. It's not like out of sight, out of mind.
Or I have to run up to the store, and another thing to remember. Mhm.
Right. Your furnace works during the summer. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
It works with
That's
the
true.
air conditioner. You can't just change your furnace filter every November when the heat comes on.
Yeah.
Okay.
People do that, by the way.
Right. So it's my, PSA of the day. We could do a whole episode on all those things people don't know that they have to maintain in their house.
Yeah.
And we should
another
at
time.
some point. But no, I thought this was a fun list. Some of the things are going to be applicable to people and some aren't.
Right. We hope to run the gamut and give a variety, but hopefully you've gotten some value out of it today.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening today. We really do appreciate it. Please check out our other episodes. We have so many great businesses that we've interviewed and talked about and just promoted in the county. But like I said, there's some great episodes out there in terms of real estate. One of my favorite ones is moving with pets.
Yeah.
Check that out. But there's some great advice out there, some great insight. And please reach out to us if you have any questions at all. You can sign up for our newsletter on welcometolivingston.com. Please like and subscribe. We value everyone that listens to our episodes, and we just love trying to bring you guys some information.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, and
welcome to Livingston.